family.
Opportunity to examine other classic horror movies. There's no minimum to buy. Cancel anytime. So call now to get Frankenstein at the special introductory.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, hello, creeps. You're right on time for your appointment.
Catfish. Creepy catfish. Hello there. I hope you're ready for the ultimate guide to fear, because I've done my research and compiled 5 of the most bone-chilling, gut-wrenching horror films that are guaranteed to scare the living shit out of you. These films may have slipped through the cracks at one time or another, being forgotten among the thousands of many other horror releases, but not anymore. Watch these films if you dare and find out for yourself. I give you 5 nightmare-inducing horror films you probably haven't seen.
Number 5.
Number 5, Frozen 2010.
Number 4.
Number 4, The Belko Experiment. Work sucks, right? Well, imagine a job that kills. What happens when an ordinary day at the office turns to a sick killing experiment? In Belko Experiment, that's exactly what happens. It seems it's just your typical day at the office. You know, dealing with that one weird coworker who won't stop talking about what she had for dinner the night before, or that one asshole boss who never seems to be in a good mood. Normal quickly turns into a bloody fight for survival when every door and window in the office building suddenly becomes slammed shut with impenetrable metal, and an unknown voice on the intercom demands a handful of murders, or else even more people will die. Is this just a sick joke? That's what some of the employees think, until suddenly, when time runs out, some of the employees' skulls just explode out of thin air. Now, everyone knows this definitely isn't just a game. All must lose their humanity and kill or be killed. Now, I've seen pretty much every horror movie imaginable, so in general, I'm pretty damn desensitized to horror. But for some reason, this movie is very disturbing and just, well, fucked up to say the least. Some of the employees agree on what groups to kill and who not to kill, depending on age, health, etc. A lot of these people are just gathered up like cattle and slaughtered one by one. Now imagine yourself in these people's shoes. You think you're just going to work for the day, but really, you're about to be part of this sick, sick experiment.
Number 3.
Number 3, Girl House. Kylie Atkins, a young and beautiful college student, summons up the courage to move into a house rigged with cameras that stream live content 24/7 for Girl House, a popular X-rated website. So pretty much just think it's basically Playboy Mansion meets Pornhub. Alright, so as all participants have absolute control over what they choose to do via webcam, provided that they live in the highly secured house of pleasure. This is an opportunity Kylie cannot resist. However, not all visitors are the same. A disturbed and obsessive admirer who goes by the username of Loverboy has set his sights on making all those who rejected and humiliated him pay in blood. Is there any escape from the girl house? So, towards the beginning, I almost felt as though I was watching something along the lines of Girls Gone Wild Boot Camp Rodeo Volume 6. But that quickly and unexpectedly turns to a sleazy grindhouse slasher film from the 80s, or something like that, which in my mind is a horror fanatic's dream come true. So if you're looking for boobs and blood and more boobs, Girl House is for you. Check it out.
Number 2.
Number 2. Grave Dancers. Back in 2006, there was this little unknown horror film festival known as the After Dark Horror Fest, 8 Films to Die For. So what their idea was, for each of the 8 movies, they would release 1 movie per night at the theater. I had the privilege of watching 2 of those, one of them being the movie I am talking about right now, Grave Dancers. This movie is the definition of disturbing as fuck. Here's the plot. 3 estranged friends get together after finding out their best friend has passed away. After the memorial service, one friend mentions how they should pay their respects to their dead friend by driving to the cemetery and pretty much partying it up. One of the friends finds a poem placed on the dead friend's grave. So what do they decide to do? Read the poem out loud and get more shit-faced while dancing on some random graves. This is when things get really freaky. Each friend and their significant others start experiencing beyond horrifying paranormal activity. Turns out, they were dancing on the worst graves possible. The graves they were dancing on belonged to some lovely, lovely people. One gravestone belonged to a serial rapist murderer who had an underground sex dungeon to torture his unsuspecting victims. While the other, well, she was an axe-wielding psychopath schoolteacher. And last but not least, the final gravestone belonged to a small child who also happened to be a pyromaniac, and who also happened to set his entire family on fire. Yes, I know, they couldn't have chosen a better area to get shit-faced on. I don't want to give too much away, but trust me, this movie is the definition of nightmare fuel. I can't recommend it highly enough. Check it out, and while you're at it, check out the other 8 Films to Die For. Number 1. Number 1. Fear of the Dark. Fear of the Dark is a Canadian horror film from 2002. It follows a young boy who is absolutely petrified of the dark due to his vivid night terrors. He is convinced these dark entities are more than just hallucinations, and that he is in serious danger. But sadly, nobody believes him. Until one night, when the boy and his older brother are alone in the home, the terror begins after the power suddenly goes completely out in the house, allowing the shadow entities to unleash their evil darkness at full force. Now, I'm pretty sure that most have never even heard of this film, which is quite a shame. This movie scared the living crap out of me when I first discovered it as a kid. The good old days of renting horror movies from your local video store and stumbling across hidden gems such as this one. Anyways, after a recent rewatch, I can safely say that this film is still enough to give a grown man nightmares and deserves to be more recognized within the horror community. I mean, look at this dude. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night, every night, and seeing this fucker. And if that's not terrifying enough, along with him are 2 Fellow shadow people entities bent on making your life a living hell. To get the full scare from this one, I highly suggest watching Alone at Night with the lights off. By yourself. You won't regret it. Or maybe you will after being too scared to even get up and take a piss in the middle of the night by yourself. So, there you have it. Have you seen any of the films I mentioned in this video? Let me know in the comment section. And if you haven't, you're in for some frightful fun. Well, I think that pretty much sums it up for this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're a hardcore horror fanatic like myself. My friend the Crypt Keeper and I are gonna light this fat ass joint and watch some horror movies.
Yes!
So remember, stay creepy. Peace.